guys so I can go out and send it. Hustle on.
I watched my first race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy, let's get you up to speed.
Lunchtime! Your workspace is ready.
Looks like you got a corner office.
Be part of something greater. Toyota. Let's go places.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Air Force, Aim High. Type S, the official lighting sponsor of Formula Drift. Lights, camera, power, fun. GT Radial, experience the performance.
Welcome out to E-Town. This is round 4 of the Formula Drift Championship. We deem this the Type S Gauntlet, first ever purpose-built drift coliseum here in the Northeast.
Look at this, the stage is set. We are here at E-Town, the Crazy 8, the track that is the purpose-built Drift Coliseum. I'm Jared Dienda. Joining me here in the booth for our pro qualifying is Ryan Lontaine. Ryan Lontaine, one of the 4 judges, as this is the Type S, the Gauntlet, presented by AutoZone. Ryan Lontaine, I say one of 4 judges as one of them sits out each round. So you're kind of rotating through. Each of you will judge 2 rounds of competition. It works out perfectly. Just giving variety, focusing on different aspects, gives you an opportunity to talk with me about qualifying. Normally it's Sage, but with you being the judge that's out of rotation, you get an opportunity to chat.
Yeah, this is my first time doing the driver steward role.
Yeah.
So this is my first time having a bit of a break here at one of the Formula Drift rounds.
Yep.
So I get to sit here and talk to you.
Yep.
And tomorrow I will field any of the protests that come in from any of the drivers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. We're already, after this weekend, we're halfway through the season, both in Pro Spec and Pro, just like that. And you know, we've We've seen some exciting things unfold, and E-Town, I'll tell you right now, if you have not watched, is it our third time here? Third or fourth?
Third, I think.
Third, yeah. And let's not count many moons ago, 10, 15 years ago, when we did utilize the road course. But let's take a look at recapping the season. Everything kicked off in Long Beach. The target was on one driver's back. I'd have to say Frederick Osbo, or a star in this case, because he is your back-to-back champion, as well as now joins the alumni of, now we have three-time Formula Drift champions, Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk. You know, we've seen some great things from him at Long Beach, but it was Frederick Osbo who eventually came out on top. What did you make of Long Beach?
Well, I was really impressed with the qualifying run that Ryan Turk put down. It gave us a nice benchmark for the rest of the season to use in driver briefings. This is what we want to see. This is the commitment. This is the throttle. This is the line we want to see throughout a course like this. So that set the bar pretty high for us, and just a fun event. I always love Long Beach.
Well, I always think it's just so, you know, oh, no, sorry. Matt Field got the win. My bad. I don't know why I said Freddie, but the target was on, again, Freddie's back. But Matt Field got the win overall. You know, Rome Charpentier up in the mix. It was a really great event. I always just think it's funny because, all right, you prep, you build your car. Let's throw you into the most unforgiving track possible. All right, so the boss man comes back. Vaughn Gittin Jr., the RTR camp, you know, rounding out. They have 4 drivers, similar to you rotating in and out. Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Adam LZ are rotating. So coincidentally, here in New Jersey, it is Adam LZ at the helm of that identical Ford Mustang that took Vaughn Gittin Jr. to the win at round 2. And look at that, 20 years later, those two gentlemen were 1 and 2 in 2004 at that track. I got emotional. A lot of people did, including obviously Vaughn and Chris Forsberg. But it was Vaughn who came out on top. Going to Orlando, another Mustang for your diet.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
This track is always a tricky one for us because there's only one transition, 2 corners, but it always gives us a lot of action despite sort of the simplicity of the track. It looks simple, but it is more complicated than it looks, and you can tell that some drivers are having a hard time with it, but I think some were doing a lot better than others, obviously.
Absolutely. Chelsea, didn't know if it all came together for him. So 2 Mustangs and a Corvette. Look at that, all-American cars, 1, 2, and 3. Who's going to come out on top? Any predictions? What have you seen so far in practice? Also maybe going off of Pro Spec qualifying.
Yeah, it's always the Pro Spec doesn't really give us much insight into Pro because the driving level is pretty different.
Yeah,
but
the parameters between tires, the horsepower, all those.
Exactly. So the zones tend to get filled more aggressively. The speed's higher. But watching Pro practice here, we've seen just the evolution, I think, from the beginning of practice to the end of it today. It took a couple of minutes for people to get used to it, but now they're on the marks. They're hitting every zone. There seems to be a little tricky transition going from inside clip 1 to outside zone number 3. So we're going to see how that plays out today in qualifying.
Taking a look at our Drivers' Championship, Frederick Osbo leads the pack. Chelsea Nunofa sits in second. Matt Field, you can see our top 5. Dylan Hughes, Jonathan Hurst, Bakshish, Charpentier, and Ryan Turk round out the top 10. So, and notably Forrest Wang, Christos Belush, and unfortunately Darren Kelly, they are not here. So Darren Kelly, I know he's trying to, you know, get the rest of the season together. Forrest Wang, I don't know exactly what happened, and Christop's just not here in the building. I know Forrest is here.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I saw him earlier.
Oh, I did not know that he was not competing today. So this is news to me.
All right. And, you know, as far as if I'm a gambling man, which you can, you know, I believe you can, you know, you can place your bets. That's right. You can place your bets, sign up, and make your bets now. Grab your phone, little QR code right there. See, we're going to do this. Well, that's the, and what do we got? Boom. There it is. All right. So 21 and older, next bets. So, again, Betfred Sportsbook. Place your bets here at E-Town. So, like we were saying, halfway through the season at the entirety of this weekend, both in Link Engine Management Pro Spec Championship and the Pro. So Field, Vaughn, Chelsea, and obviously here we are at E-Town. St. Louis, Missouri, Worldwide Technology Raceway Park, heading back up to Evergreen. Seattle, Washington, just outside Monroe, Washington to be specific. Grantsville, Utah Motorsports Campus, just outside of Salt Lake City. And then finally, Irwindale, California, the House of Drift, October 13th and 14th to culminate our 20th season of Formula Drift. Crazy.
I can't believe that after this, we're going to be halfway through the season already. It is truly mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's It's crazy, it's exciting, it's chaotic, and it's all ours. All right, so E-Town, formerly a drag strip, and now modified to the first ever purpose-built Drift Coliseum. The keys to success. Open the door, Ryan.
Drivers need to have that quick and accurate initiation right on the wall and ride through all the zones. So outside zone 1 is very important to get yourself set up for outside zone 2. If you're too far inside on 1, you're not going to make 2 properly. 2 is very, very long, and they get to that inside clip. Fill all of outside zone 3. You want to finish with angle and not lose control of the car. We saw somebody that happened to in Pro Spec qualifying. And you just want to be in the filling those zones accurately and with momentum. So as you get to these zones, there are different ways to achieve them. You can sort of slow down on the transition and then try to accelerate up to outside zone 2 here. That's not how we want it done. You want to use your momentum to get yourself to that wall, make it look kind of risky, get all the way out there, ride that outside line. You can see here it's a very long zone. We've actually extended it today further than what it looks like there. This clip is now inside the track a little bit compared to what you see in the video here. Transition the car. You want a bigger flick than what video game Chris Forsberg just did right there. And then ride outside zone 3 all the way around. At the end of outside zone 3, we've got a little bit of a kink there to the end because people were dropping a tire there last year. We brought the line in a little bit. You'll see there's that box doesn't follow the outside edge of the track all the way around, but that's done for a reason.
Download Torque Drift now. Rip it up on Englishtown now with your favorite drivers. This also brought to you by Torque Motorsport. Taking a look at the D-cell. Now, you talked about the transition, slowing the car down. It's not ideal, but it is allowed. There's going to be a natural D-cell area. That's denoted by those red areas.
Yeah, and the key thing that the judges were talking about here is that you want to D-cell the car after you've done rotating the car. So you don't want to rotate the car as you slow down. It is not easy to chase. We've had a couple of drivers bring that up from last year's competition here especially, but from other rounds as well. It's something that we need to hold the drivers to a higher standard on to have a better tandem competition.
All right, our 3 judges are Robin Ishida, Brian Egger, and Chris Ewell, our 3 judges. Scrutinizing the runs, both in Pro Spec and Pro, and again, that goes out the window tomorrow because we're going to the Rockstar Energy Drink Top 32. Right now, it's the K&N Knockout Qualifying. K&N, the official performance air filter of Formula Drift. João Berrion from Brazil. A few Brazilian drivers in the mix. Diego Higa joining us over here in the States. And here's that Monster Energy, Various Corvette. Now into that big second outside zone. Saw João earlier. Looks like he's filling it up. Nice job. Now he's going to handle the one and only, the lone clip. Transition in that final outside zone, really well executed. This is probably the best I've seen João drive this year. He's had, just as I say that, throws a little bit of a dirt rooster. Not bad from João.
Yeah, the way he entered outside zone 2, looking at that camera view, looked pretty good. It looked pretty risky. It looked like he went deep into outside zone 2. Let's watch it again as he transitions right here at outside zone 2. Looks like he went real close to the wall right there. Stayed on throttle. They had no hesitations, which is important, especially on the X Factor side of things. Came in pretty tight inside clip number 1 there, and as he transitioned the car for zone number 3, you can see a little hesitation in the car, and then he dropped the tire, and then dropped the tire off the track. So he went beyond the white line on outside zone number 3 near the end, and then went even wider again beyond the track surface and dropped a tire in the dirt. So looking at his entrance there, nice and wide on that wall on outside zone 3, looks good even from the drone. And if the drone looks good, that means it was a good job because can't hide anything from the drone, Jared. So watch the transition here, gets the angle, and then you see that little kind of a bobble right there as he went into outside zone 3. So the judges will catch that, and then that tire drop at the end of outside zone number 3. Of course, we'll take a point or 2 off there as well.
All right, so João Berrion awaiting his score. Continue on with Kyle the Menace Mohan, Kyle Mohan. Shout out to Federico Sharifo. Have not seen him the entirety of this year. I know he's been prepping a Maserati for a while. And taking a look. So that is the running order. Saw Amanda Sorensen earlier today. She did well. She's in the head-to-head. We're seeing her brother Brandon here in the Pro Championship. And here we go. So the new scoring format here is 100 points total. 90 is allocated towards the line angle style, the same criteria we've been using for many moons. And then we have introduced the X factor. So you can see judged across the board, 4, 3, and 2. And it is the average across the board. So Joao Barrion with an 82.33. Again, all things considered, pretty decent score there for Joao to kick things off.
Real consistent scoring, too. Two of the judges had the exact same score.
It's nice to see. Across the board. Here we go. Kyle Menace Mohan. Mazda tricks. Yes, the cone was hit, but it is not head-to-head, so it does not dictate the restart. Renewable lubricants, E-Flex fuel. Mazda tricks RX-8. Here we go. The boy from Long Beach gets into that second outside zone, flows properly through outside zone 2, brings it in tight to that inside clip. Let's see what Mohan's got for our final outside zone. Boom, fills all of it. Wow, really well done. And flirting with that edge of the course. So showing you he can get deeper, good car control. Well done by Kyle Mohan.
Looking at the replay, you'll see his line isn't ideal through outside zone number 1. It looked like he initiated really early, maybe earlier than he needed to. As he transitions here, you can see a little bobble and hesitation as he approaches the wall in outside zone number 2. Gets the tire almost all out wide there, all the way out wide on outside zone number 2, that really long zone. Just a hash mark off of inside clip number 1, and then pretty good job near the end of outside zone number 3. The only thing is that, you know, it doesn't have the visual pace maybe that some of the other runs do. Looking at see the bobbles there in outside zone 1, so the line wasn't ideal. And right here, he slows the car down a lot. You can see a bit of a hesitation. He got the wall, let's say the approach to the wall was really strong, but then as he got closer and closer to it, he sort of hesitated, lifted off the throttle a little too much, slowed the car down. But then outside zone 3 looked solid. He was on throttle, good angle, and the line was pretty decent through there. So a couple of points will be deducted for the X factor for sure, for the sort of that approach to outside zone number 2. But also the line in 1 is going to hurt him. But overall, a good run from Kyle, and just needs to clean it up a little bit as we go into tandem competition tomorrow. Yes, sir. All right. So, like I said, those bobbles, kind of little mistakes here and there. Just tighten it up here as a 75.33. So X factor, no points, not a factor for the X factor. Kyle Mohan with 75.33. Puts a score on the board. Again, the format here will everybody will have one singular run. We'll lock in the top 24. The remaining drivers fighting for those final 8 spots. Ryan Littoral from the 909. The power stop breaks. S15 to Ryan Littoral's got GT radials. A lot of handbrake pull there as he enters into that first outside zone. We'll talk about the lights on the windscreen when the time is right. Basically, it's an accel, decel, moot point. And now going past that inside clip, rounding it out. Looks like Ryan Littoral is going to get a full pull on the board. Very smooth, very fluid. Had some, again, a lot of handbrake. You saw a little correction there on that first inside or outside zone. But outside of that, pretty textbook. Nothing crazy, nothing X factor-ish, and nothing kind of large mistake. It looked silky. He had that long handbrake pull, like you said, on initiation, and there was a long one right there as well. The judges are going to catch that. Looking for more momentum, more throttle usage throughout the course. So those little handbrake uses there were typically, it's not a problem if you got the handbrake a little bit here and there, but they just looked a little bit longer. I will say, though, outside zone 3 was really nicely done. He was on throttle, big angle, on line. So zone 3 is going to, I think, give him a couple of extra points, you know, from compared to the zone 1 and zone 2 areas. Line-wise, though, pretty solid through zone 2 here. It was just the approach to 2 that wasn't ideal. And then big, like kind of a change in angle there from zone 2 to inside clip. But again, zone 3, beautifully done, nice and smooth. Looked really confident through that zone 3 area. And this is great, you know, Colab Garage out of Georgia. They've been working on his engine, and Ryan Littoral just getting out there. It's good to see him put everything together. You know, I know he's had some gremlins here and there, and looks like he's got it all dialed. There are judges up there in the tower. We're just behind them with that backdrop, so we are up here. Thanks for joining us. So you got Chris Yule doing a little Chewbacca scare. I don't know what's going on there. And then Robin Ishida in the middle, and Brian Eggert just looking very stoic, like Darwin's theory over here. Just holding that skull. Deep thinker. Deep thinker. Deep thinker Eggert. Ryan Lontaine with an 81. An 81 for Lontaine. What?
What's that? Or Ryan Literal. Well, your name's Ryan, and it's an L. Ryan, you qualified. Ryan Lantain, dude, you got an 81. Ryan Literal, my
Ryan
bad.
Literal.
No, what? Ryan Literal, my bad.
I'm competing in Formula
yeah,
D.
dude, you had no idea.
Solid for me.
Ola Jaeger, Japan Auto, signature Mark IV Toyota Supra. Good initiation from him. Oh, grips up. Just barely flirting with the edge of the entry of the outside zone 1. Gets it to outside zone 2. Works it back and forth now. Rounding out in that inside clip. And the final outside zone. Right in the middle of that baby. Well done. All right, the Kenda Tires, Japan Auto, Mark IV Supra. Ryan Lantain, what do you say?
Jared Deanda. Well, I will say he's missing some key parts of this track. Outside zone 1, missing that is going to hurt him quite a bit. Missing the beginning of outside zone 2 and then just kind of flirting with the edge of that zone in that big outside zone 2 area, that's going to hurt him as well. He can't drive this way if he's going to compete in tandem tomorrow. This is something he needs to clean up. It's not going to get him very far. He's going to get a score here, of course, but he needs to clean this up. He needs to be wider in the zones. That transition, you could see some hesitation and some kind of steps in that transition. Also not ideal. Once we get a little higher in the qualifying bracket here, list right here, you're going to see much higher levels of accuracy, and that's what he's going to be competing against tomorrow in tandem. So, you know, this is the type of thing that might get you into the show, but you have to clean it up. He needs to take his practice session tomorrow if he gets in and really, you know, expand on that for sure.
Yeah, refine it, be a little more aggressive. Seems timid. Just get a little more dialed, be more aggressive. 78.33. Be aggressive. Be aggressive, baby. Shout out to my boy Rutledge Wood. I know he's got a hurt back right now.
What happened?
He gets back things.
Does he like lifting heavy things?
No. It's just called living and getting old. Oh. Yeah, but shout out to my boy Rutledge Wood, host of
Get better, Rutledge.
What's that?
Get better, Rut.
Get better, Rut. All right, so as we are seeing a newcomer, a new driver for us, coming from Ukraine, Alex Holovnia. Alex Holovnia in the Chepa Racing Toyota GT86. Kiev, Ukraine. Getting loud and proud off the start. And in that first outside zone, yep. Risking it. So that new livery there, Chepa Racing. But when he approaches the outside zone, is he slowing or is that just me? Is it a visual kind of trick? I don't know. That seems really weird. On both outside zone 1 and 2. Now going outside zone 3, very fluid. Now he finds that right spot. Gets all the way to outside zone. Right? Am I crazy?
Well, I'd like to see the drone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes the camera angle is a little deceiving, but
got it.
Hopefully we get a better view from the drone on that. I think you're right. It did look like a more extreme decel than we'd like to see there. But let's look here. Over, really not through all the way into that zone, number 1. The entrance to zone 2 was not ideal either. You can see he's like mid in outside zone number 2, midline. We'd like to see deeper in that zone. Off quite a bit on the inside clip. And then the transition there was okay. I'd like to see a little more dynamicism in that one. Do you like that word, Jared? I'd like to just see a little bit more speed and more aggression, I guess, in that transition. It looked very controlled, and it didn't look quick enough. But got out to that wall. You can see he's not all the way out there, but midline through outside zone 2. I'd like to see that deeper as well, and then missed inside clip. So he's going to lose some points on line for sure here. X factor maybe a little bit lower on this one.
Dynamicism. Is that your band name?
Use that word.
Dynamicism. And up next, featuring Ryan Lantain at lead vocals, Dynamicism.
You're a rough concert.
Yeah, that's what I have. What?
Pretty bad.
Sorry. You just apologize to everybody all the time. Sorry for blowing out your ears. He's Canadian. That's a Canada joke. You have to explain it. It's funnier. All right, an 80 for Alex Holovnia. That is an 8-0 for the Ukrainian pilot. Got the double burnout box. Everybody's loving the double burnout box. We're whipping through these drivers. Bang, bang, bang. You get a burnout. You get a burnout. You get to go. During practice, they were shredding it. All right, speaking of shred, one of the most popular drivers in the field, Adam LZ. Adam LZ Matt Sopa was up here earlier, but now he's down the line. He's sending off the RTR. All new Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD, big initiation, throws it in hard. Let's see how he handles it outside zone 2. Gets in there, tries to find a little deeper. Put that Mustang to sleep. There we go, on that inside clip. Now transitioning. There you go, got it in the chokehold. Yup, outside. Saw that right there on that last outside zone 3. Adam LZ.
Was that for me?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I'm at home.
XYZ.
That was a really nice initiation, Jared.
It was.
Didn't quite pull off outside zone 1 with that initiation, though. He was doing some wild driving in practice, and it looks like he's trying to carry that into qualifying, but not being quite as accurate as he was in a couple of his practice runs. So missed outside zone 1, fortunately. Wasn't as deep in the end of the beginning of zone 3, but at the end of zone 3, there got really wide out to the outside line of that zone. Great angle through there, but watch this initiation. Nice rotation to angle, but then misses half of outside zone number 1, unfortunately. Transitions the car there, a bit of a step transition going to outside zone number 2. You can see how big that zone is. Nice wrap around there. Pretty decent on the inside clip, and then transitions for 3. Little bobble right there, but nice and wide on that line all the way through. Good angle through outside zone 3 as well. Now he needs to bring that level of aggression and make it more accurate. You know, do that, but fill the zones properly.
Yeah, like you said, that initiation, it just didn't stick. He kind of threw it at the wall, and it just fell down. So definitely needs to throw it, stick it to win it.
Right now, the sun, using my air quotes here, has gone down, but it's been cloudy all day, but the track conditions may change a little bit.
Hey, look at that, 83.33, so an 81, and then X factor across the board. You can see 1, 3, and 3, equalizing that. So find himself at an 83.33 for Adam LZ. He assumes the number 1 position. All right, here we go, Nick Novak. Look at Nick Novak. He's about to throw it back in. Oh, he backs it in. Nick Novak. He backs into that wall, shreds that back bumper, but keeps on keeping on. There we go, Nick Novak. Let's see what we got past the inner clip. Kind of a slow crawl, right? Like a little bit of a trickle, a little slow drip. Let's open that faucet, Novak. Let it flow. That is the tempo. So damn low. That is Nick Novak. There we go. Who's that that keeps flagging him down?
It looks like kind of a panicked.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah. Like, you're on fire. Help me, Tom Cruise.
So big initiation all the way out to the wall, maybe a little too close to the wall there. Crushed the back of his car and missed outside zone 1 because of it. Going outside zone number 2, about a mid to wide-ish line through there. Bit of a bobble approaching the inside clip, which he ran over. Coming outside zone 3, like you said, looked like a high wheel speed run, but not really getting that car through the course as efficiently as we'd like to see. But you can see that hit changed the attitude of the car quite a bit right there. Going outside zone 2, managed to get back online pretty well despite that wall hit earlier on. Usually when we have something like that on zone 1, the driver has a hard time achieving zone 2, but he managed to fill it pretty well despite that wall hit. And then midline to wide through outside zone number 3. Running some big angle, but that wall tap potentially could hurt him, Jared.
Yeah, that wall tap slowed him down. That really disrupts your whole deal. Like I was telling Matt Sopa earlier, also this weekend, Pikes Peak Hill Climb, Colorado.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that Kawato, TCP Magic,
weather,
and
huh?
What's that?
They had some bad weather at the top.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Like you know, I announced last year's the 100th running with Tanner Faust. Him and I got to call the action, and they opened the mountain all the way. The previous year, they only did like 2 of the 3 sectors. So, but Mad Mike and Kawato are watching. They're in the pits and they're watching, which is pretty sweet. 73.33. So shout out to Mad Mike. Good luck to you, mate. The all rotary 3-rotor Mazda 3.
Yeah, Mad Mike. I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah, he's been staying at my house quite a bit. Him and his family came out. He's a busy boy. I'm gonna head down there in December, go back to New Zealand for Mad Mike's event. He's gonna flip things up. Stay tuned.
Kind of juicy news do you have that you can't tell us?
I can't tell you.
Maybe
it's
we'll
like,
hit the...
It's like the Gushers, those candy. Like, it's just a surprise, dude. You didn't know it was going to happen. Nice, sweet, good morsel, and then pow, it's going to happen.
I'm going to have to hit the quiet button over here, and you can tell me some secrets.
Nope. Nope.
Right. I'll just have to watch, I guess.
Money talks. Ben Franklin. Diego Higa from Brazil. And Diego Higa, definitely a fierce competitor coming to us from Brazil. You've seen him drive Ryan in his native country. Definitely a weapon. Trying to find the perfect marriage of him, man, and machine. And it looks like it's working out right now. That car might look familiar. Obviously, Sans the livery. That was the vehicle that Ryan Turk piloted for numerous years. JDM Supreme owns it, working with him. And hey, ride on to the ride on. Well done, Diego Higa. All right, so flagging him on down. I believe they're checking tire temps, right? And tire temps and pressure.
Not sure what they're doing over there. They're always up to something. It looks like the track is getting grippier. We're seeing repeated drivers having an issue getting to outside zone 1. So it may be, difference in grip level out there now that it's getting dark. Again, the sun was blazing earlier, but conditions can still change. But he did, despite that miss on outside zone 1, did a great job on zone 2 and zone 3. Good angle through there, looked pretty confident as well. Let's look at this again from the drone. So right there you can see missing the latter half of outside zone number 1. Gets the car transition, pretty good job through outside zone 2, gets really wide there. Through the majority of that zone, looked pretty good. A couple of bobbles there near the end of the zone. And then through inside clip 1, pretty tight. Transitions to zone 3. And a nice line through there as well with a pretty big angle through the finish.
All right, taking a look here. We've got Robert Thorne. Robert Thorne making the switch from Pro Spec to Pro here in his ASM. So picked up the sponsor. See Momo on the car. Pedal Commander burnout box. Robert Thorne winning the Pro Spec Championship last year. And again, I was talking with some friends up there earlier talking about Robert Thorne being a traditional racer, making the switch and coming over and committing to Formula Drift. Both in Pro Spec last year and then now in Pro. A lot of traditional racers are really eager to see how he does. And Robert, I don't call it growing pains by any means, but making the switch from Pro Spec to Pro, you have all these different parameters. As Diego Higa to 81.33. Diego Higa, 81.33, slides in third position. But when I say parameters, Pro Spec is just that, a spec series. So you have the same size tires across the board, everybody's running linked engine management. Now your parameters grow within, how much horsepower, tires, all these different aspects of the vehicle build. So Thorne trying to put it together, and he had great success here last year in Pro Spec. All right, here goes Robert Thorne, initiates in that first outside zone, gets in about halfway and has to exit out. Now to the second outside zone. As you said, Ryan, the sun's setting, the temperature's dropping. That's going to change the track surface. Now into this final outside zone. Seems like everybody's figuring out that last outside zone. But one on initiation, I think a lot of people are nervous because that wall kind of, if you look at it, it goes in, but then it comes out. So it's kind of in and out when you go and initiate towards that first outside zone.
Yeah, it's a tricky area for sure to get to, yeah. So he missed quite a bit of outside zone 1. Getting the car transition, you see a step transition. There was a bit of a pause there as the car went from, angle in one direction to angle in the other. So that's going to hurt him there. But good job here through inside clip number 1. I guess the only inside clip. Transitions to outside zone number 3. Rides that line pretty well through outside zone 3. Good angle, looked pretty settled. But it's really the beginning of the track that gave him a hard time. Outside zone 1 area. And again, it seems to be giving a lot of drivers a hard time that weren't having a hard time in practice. So it seems like a track difference thing. And going forward to Saturday's competition, I think the temperature is going to be different that day, although we're going to be going from day to night in competition. I believe it's supposed to be, it's forecasted to be warmer, I believe, right, compared to today. So potentially what they're learning today about the grip levels and everything on the track won't even apply to Saturday's competition.
79.33 for Robert Thorne. Also, just impending weather that's just been hanging out, lingering. We're seeing the percentages change throughout today. Locally, it's not just according to the weather right now. Just don't kill the messenger. It's saying that there'll be no rain until tomorrow, but it's like 30% chance, 60% chance in the afternoon. But it's all over the place. You really can't even Can't really go off of that at all. But tonight should be clear skies. Adam LZ holding down that #1 spot, 83.33. Joao Barillon and Diego Higa, the Brazilian drivers, 2 and 3. And here comes Brandon Sorensen. All right, so our first 10 drivers after Brandon completes his run. So taking a look, we're intended to have 37 cars, 4 gone. Do the math, so we should have 34 drivers. Here we go. Brandon Sorensen, United States Air Force, pedal commander, BMW. First outside zone. Outside zone 2, set it and forget it. Yep. And just sticks it right in there like Velcro. Past that inside clip. Very tight for him. And Brandon getting aggressive on that transition. That was nice. I like that. It wasn't super snappy, but it was just good rate to angle. Let's take a look at it again.
Let's.
Please do. You talk about it.
All right, the initiation, we just sort of missed the initiation there, but it looked like he got to angle and it added way more angle as he got into the zone. We missed that kind of beginning of it there, but maybe we'll catch it on another replay. Good zone through 2. I think he did a good job there. Nice angle through the inside clip. And then, like you said, came to big angle there. A bit of a bobble, but look at the angle he's pulling through. That looked real high. Almost full angle. You can see it looked like full, and then he added a little bit more, but he's real close to max angle through outside zone #3. That looked pretty solid.
Maximum angle.
So big angle through zone 1 as well, through the majority of it there, going through outside zone 2. Not all the way deep. At the beginning, you could see he was off the wall a little bit, so playing it safe through that section of the track. Tight on the clip, good angle. And then as he transitions, gets to a nice degree of angle, has a little bit of a hesitation there, maybe kind of held angle and then poured more on as he went through the rest of the zone.
Again, this track overall, very unassuming, flat. You know, when we came here a few years ago, we were like, all right, you know, it's gonna be pretty straightforward, see good head-to-head. It got tumultuous, dude. It just got really tough because, like I was saying to Sopa, there's so much room for opportunity here, good and bad. It's not just stick it to the wall, get up in the bank, drop it down. You're like, okay, in, out, this, where do I transition, where do I decel? And Brandon gets an 82.33, so the young buck from Las Vegas. You can see he still leaves Judge 2 with a 78 and a 3 on X Factor. All right, so Robin Ishida. A little lower than the other guys, but makes up for it in the X Factor points. And here we go, Mr. Mike Power. Mike Power in the Type S. You can see the lights under the car glowing away. Yo, gets into that first outside zone. Mike Power is familiar with this track as well. Good angle there going to that second outside zone. Just needs to fill all of it, and looks like he will. Mike Power out here competes. I know he throws down here at the Gambler event. He's been living in Southern California recently, though. Not so much time here on the East Coast from Port Jeff Station, New York. So, local East Coast kid.
The end of that zone 3 right there, you can see he left it a little bit early. I want to see that again. Hopefully we get some drone footage on that one. But he had some moments of clarity through the run, I think. Some things that looked really good. He got up to the wall on zone 1, but had that bobble right there. Transitioning, sort of a slower transition through that area, and on the brakes through it, I'd like to see maybe an earlier transition and not slowing down in the transition itself. And then through the inside clip, pretty solid there. Transitioning to zone 3, got out wide early, but unfortunately left the zone. His tire was right on that inside line. So he got out wide, but couldn't maintain that wide line. You can see there were a couple of handbrake pulls, and that changed the attitude of the car through zone 1. And then through that transition, another hesitation there as well. There was a handbrake pull there. Coming to the inside clip from that angle, looked pretty solid. The transition here, like I said, deep in the beginning of the zone. And then you can see there his tires right on the line, on that inside line of outside zone 3. So not ideal line-wise through there.
The lights are on here at E-Town. Crazy 8, this course. See the remains of the former drag strip right down the middle, the gray asphalt. Tarmac, here we go. 79.66 for Mike Power. like power drift. 0 points on the X Factor category. Again, qualifying score, 90 points available. X Factor, 10 points available. Totaling, if you got a perfect score, it'd be a hundo. A long weekend here for us. Pro Spec today and Pro Qualifying today, both. And then tomorrow dedicated solely to Link Engine Management Pro Spec Championship. Saturday is game day for Pro. Dean Carnage Carney, Hyper NFT.io, Dodge Viper. Watched Dean earlier in practice. He was getting aggressive. So let's see what Dean's got here. Comes up short on initiation. In that second outside zone, just not able to get the car out there. It seems like he's fighting the car. That second outside zone, past that inside clip.
I wish he could call the ball again on this one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just, unfortunately, failure to launch into that first outside zone for Dean. That's going to hurt. Also on outside zone 2.
Yeah, again, that outside zone 1 seems real sticky right now. It's hard to get. A lot of the cars are having a hard time getting all the way out to fill that zone. And because he didn't get out all the way to that zone, it didn't allow him to really do well on the beginning of zone 2. He managed to work the car out to the latter half, maybe the latter third of outside zone number 2, and then does manage to fill maybe the second half of outside zone 3. So his line score is going to suffer on this run. You can see there his tire wasn't even in the box, and then coming into outside zone 2. No better through the beginning of that, but does get the car into the box. The latter, like I said, maybe the half of that one, off slightly on the outside clip, and then outside zone 3, about midline, and then fills the entirety of the second half, maybe, of outside zone number 3. So going to lose some line points on the board here. Sorry, on the table, not on the board.
Yep.
They're not going up on the board.
They're keeping their reservation at the table.
At the table.
Got it. Yeah, they're not going. Okay. Just clarifying. Next up, we are looking at, looks like Kenshiro Gushi. All right, Dean Carnage Carney with a 73, a 73. You can see 75, 72, and 72. 0 X Factor points for the Hyper NFT.io Viper. Kenshiro Gushi had an opportunity to drive the all-new 45th anniversary Mark V Toyota GR Supra earlier. Also the Toyota GR 86. I don't know if you've seen that. The Trueno edition. Yo, look at Gucci. Aggressive with the initiation. But like you said, if it's aggressive and you don't get out there, that's not going to help you. Now it looks like he's filling that second outside zone. Works his way in. Exits just before the end. Misses that inside clip. Now, see how he handles this outside zone? A lot better there. Again, a very unique engine setup, that V6. We find in like FJ Cruiser or Tacoma. So the Modis 3s Racing Toyota GR86. Also, those cars were just debuted last night. 45th anniversary Supra, GR86, the Trueno edition. I don't know if you saw that. And then the Circuit GR Corolla. It's sick.
Nice stuff.
Yep.
So, unfortunately here, Gucci missed outside zone 1 almost entirely. Doesn't get in deep into outside zone 2, and then you can see near the end of the zone, leaves it entirely, so didn't fill all of outside zone 2. Missed inside clip 1 by a long shot there. And right here, there's a big slowdown coming into the outside zone 3 area. Does manage to fill maybe half of outside zone 3, but missed all of outside zone 1. Outside zone 2 was not ideal due to him leaving it early. So as he comes through, you see right here, he leaves the zone entirely. And then missed inside clip 1, didn't even get over any of the hash marks. And right here, there was a big decel. Doesn't go all the way out to the wall, but does get on the line near the end of outside zone 3. So like you said earlier, the big initiation, but without that accuracy, isn't going to get you very far points-wise.
Yep.
So unfortunately there in outside zone 1, there will be a pretty big deduction, I would say.
All right, another Toyota Jonathan Castro, Toyota GR86, Ken Gushi, 75.33. A lot of 70s. Get y'all leveling up here as Castro from DR. Rutledge Wood is cheering on his Toyota partners.
Not cheering too aggressively though. It's not to hurt.
Yeah, don't exude too much energy. All right, here we go. Jonathan Castro initiates into outside zone. Wow, look at that, gets all the way out there. Rubber not slowing him down at all. And now to the second outside zone. Looks like Castro found the hack. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. 99 lives. Let's go. Into that final outside zone. Man, Castro really just on the edge of the course. Well done by the DR driver, Jonathan Castro.
I would say that's one of the better lines we've seen in qualifying, Jared. He got the car out wide in most of the major areas of the zones, especially zone 1, where we've seen a lot of difficulty from a lot of the drivers getting out to that outside zone 1 area. Some haven't been in it at all. He actually filled the zone. So you can see there his tires right on the line through almost the whole zone. Zone 2 gets in it, I'd say about midline, but then works his way out. Does a pretty good job there through most of outside zone number 2. Gets himself into inside clip number 1 pretty well. And then outside zone 3, look at that. Right out wide to that line. So in terms of line, he's going to do pretty well. Bit of a bobble there in initiation, but really great line through there. Bit of a handbrake pull, but that's a decel zone, so that's okay. As long as it's not too long and overdone. But I think what he did there was acceptable, getting the car set, getting the car slowed down enough. And I'd like to see the way he's coming in there with more aggression, more speed, and having to slow down more aggressively. That works for me because I'd like to see that X factor up a little bit more. So good job from Jonathan Castro.
Jonathan Castro, the LTH Mobile 1 Toyota GR86. Waiting his score. Moving on into, what do we have next? We got Trent Beecham, Nexen Tire, Clonex Racing BMW. Got the E-Town suite over there. No, spotters are next to us. Is that spotters too? No, I think that's the E-Town suite. Yeah. Those are the sand people over there. Don't worry, they'll come back in greater numbers too. Talking about those guys. Yeah. 83 and 83 even for Dominican finest Jonathan Castro. All right, there we are, the bright lights of Trenton Beecham. Red lights, summer in the city. Let's go. Oh, Beecham Nest. Beach these. Trenton Beecham. Once he got initiates, throw some more and more angle at it. You can see that line just kind of dissipating as every tire that goes across it, including the Nexen tires of the BMW, again, LS-powered BMW. Off the third hash mark, now into that last outside zone. Maybe a little timid, a little scared there. That wall is definitely unforgiving. So Beecham rounds it out. Analyze this, if you will, Ryan.
Yes, sir. That was a big initiation, I think, but not accurate. He did not get out to outside zone 1. Again, seems like a little more difficult to get out there. We've had a couple of drivers get out there, especially Castro, filled it really well. So he got in, but left it early. Outside zone number 2, you can see not in it at the beginning. Slowly works his way into the zone, but slightly. Just tires just barely over the line into the box. About that 2 mark on the hashes there at inside clip. And then not all the way wide at outside zone 3 either. So just not putting the car in all the right places. It was an okay initiation, but just wasn't able to carry the line all the way through outside zone number 1 and around outside zone 2 as well. So line-wise, going to get hurt on the score from that perspective. Not accurate there on inside clip 1 either. So good transition here, good angle through outside zone 3. So he has a couple of the aspects of what we're looking for in a good qualifying run, but just unfortunately not putting it all together, not using all the aspects, right? So we've got pretty good initiation, transitions were okay, but the line is suffering through there. And he gets 75.33 overall.
All right, see the back end.
Jeff Jones is up next.
Jeff Jones.
Jeff Jones.
Right, excited to see him. And there he is, Jeff Jones, Evil Auto Works, Nissan 370Z, Southern California. Jones a busy man. Hot Bit Fest events that he's throwing down in Southern California. Thumbs up from Sopa. The nighttime coming, we can see those windscreen acceleration lights. We'll get into those again when necessary. Yeah, Jeff Jones fills all that first outside zone to see this transition. See how like stutter step into it? All right, yeah, stutter stepped into that second outside zone and through it, fills all of it. Tight past the inside clip and looking very similar to Castro's line. You know, you saw him, you know, get into the outside zone. All right, big drift energy. That's what it says on the roof.
You heard the judges jokingly say 0.
He wrote a score on the track.
Yeah. Jeff just loves doing it for the gram, maybe. This describes the decel lights that we see on either side of the windshield. So when they're green, of course, you've got positive Gs. Net neutrality, so not accelerating or decelerating, you'd have right in the middle with no light. And then as you start decelerating more aggressively, it goes from yellow to red. So if you see those lights flashing on the windshield on either side, that is what's occurring. So you can see them right there lighting up red because he was slowing down through outside zone 1, which he filled really well. It goes to yellow there as he approaches outside zone number 2, so not a serious decel, but a slight decel. And then you can see a couple of little bobbles from Jeff through outside zone 2, but his line is good off of inside clip 1 slightly there. Let's see the transition. Oh, went to red very briefly, so good decel from Jeff there. Of course, he's coming through with some speed from outside zone number 2 to 3. Needs to get himself slowed down a little bit. So, of course, those lights are going to light up, and that's a decel zone. That's totally legit. As he transitions here for zone 2, little bobble there, and then as he gets into the zone, he starts filling it pretty well right here. And then you can see a wobble there as he went over the different surfaces. He went over the drag strip concrete from the pavement, and you can see the car really changing attitude there. And then that decel zone, again, the lights lit up, so that is also a legitimate area to use those. And we're going to show you the decel map now so you can see where those red areas are. That's where we expect to see some of the red lights coming on in the windshield in those decel areas. So this is a way for the chase drivers to know where to expect the lead drivers to slow down, and this gives us some assistance in case there's collisions. I mean, you don't want to talk about this, but we could have some collisions out there.
It's inevitable, dude.
Yeah, this is going to help us.
It's going to happen.
This will give us a little bit more of an understanding of who's supposed to be decelling where. If we see those red lights pop up outside of those red zones on the map, then we can say, hey, that driver was decelling where they're not supposed to. And if the chase driver does make contact, then the lead driver will be held responsible for that. And here we have Jeff Jones' score with an 80.66.
80.66. Next up, Taylor Hole. Red, white, and blue. Taylor Hole, full pull hole. This first outside zone, let's see initiation. Yes, sir, really well done. That was fluid. So you saw how aggressive it was, riding that wall, flirting with the wall, into that second outside zone. Man, Taylor Hole is possessed. Really good fluidity. Liking that. I have to assume a little bit of X factor here, you know, garnering a little, woo, look at that. I mean, the transition there, oh, crawling a little bit. That was chaseable in my eyes, but you know, we saw this earlier. We kind of spin the wheel speed, got to power through, and he did that. But that was a little precarious.
Yeah, but you can see Taylor Hull here is really shooting for a big score in qualifying. Bit of a stepped initiation, but once he gets to angle, did a really good job on outside zone 1. Pretty decent transition there to zone 2. Nice line through outside zone 2 at the beginning, close on that wall. And then as he finishes, comes off slightly off that outside line, not all the way into inside clip number 2. Decent transition here to zone 3. And then you can see standing on that left foot brake as he's on throttle. And kind of, like you said, crawling through that area a little bit, but managing to keep the car on line. And let's watch that transition again. Just a brief flash of the red from the decel lights, which is, again, in the right area right there.
Yep.
Yeah. It gets out nice and wide to zone 2, so he did a good job of doing that entry to that zone. And then does the same thing here on zone 3. Of course, could have been slightly deeper, but of course, a lot of throttle, a lot of, well, some brake through there, which isn't always ideal. Want to see throttle through that area instead.
All right, the comp cams, Koenig, Edelbrock, Corvette, Yellow Speed Racing suspension, Wild Willies, got that beard accoutrements, the beard juice, courtesy of Wild Willies, and an 84, so he gets that #1 spot. So congrats to Taylor Hull, full pole Hull, an 84 on his first run. That'll lock him in. Again, we take the top 24, one and done. The remaining drivers will have to compete, and we take the better score of the 2 to fill the final 8 spots. So how many drivers? So again, 37 minus 4. So we should have 33 drivers. So only 1 driver will be sitting out. Alec Robbins, this gentleman, looking for him to have a solid first run here. Non-stop tuning. Kenda, the self-made status.co 350Z powered by Holley EFI. All the way through that second outside zone. Good angle from him. Yup, into that final outside zone. So self-made status.co, check them out. Picked up a new sponsor this year. Got some cool gear, so be sure to check them out. Self-made status.
So big initiation from Alec here. Gets pretty well, you know, could have done a little bit better on zone 1, but zone 2 is where he really shines. You can see that tire right on the line through outside zone 2. Came off slightly near the end, maybe on the second hash mark at the inside clip. Nice angle through zone 3, but not as deep as you'd like to see. Left a little bit on the table there through that zone. Did make an attempt though, went in pretty aggressively. You can see zone 1 left it a little bit early, but good pace through the course, good throttle usage. Using that momentum to fill outside zone number 2 and getting out wide there, I think is going to help him quite a bit in this run. About the second hash mark at the inside clip. And then good angle through zone 3, but again, on line, could have been wider, could have filled it out a little bit better. But overall, a good high energy run from Alec here. Looked pretty solid, as I'm sure he's watching, you know, all the drivers coming up now, they're watching qualifying on the live stream right now and seeing where drivers are having issues. Maybe, you know, it gives them a bit of an opportunity now to say, I see what drivers are having trouble with. Maybe I can set my car up to adhere to that kind of difficulty a little bit more. Maybe the track's grippier, and you can see that. But because everybody's sort of having the same problems. Not everybody. We're having a few drivers with some success, as we've seen here in the last few drivers.
Again, I would just contribute it to timidness more than anything.
Potentially.
Yeah, and with the cooler conditions, you know, a lot of rubber's been laid, you know, and the track's going to transform if we see some moisture. 79.33 for Alec Robbins, self-made status.co, powered by Holley EFI, Nissan 350Z. See his dog. He's got a cute little black puff dog.
Yes, I did see the puff dog.
Had a tuxedo on.
In Atlanta, I think I didn't see it here. But cute puppy.
That was my nickname in college. Cute puppy. Yeah. Here we go, Travis. This is Travis Reeder, right? That's who we got. Travis Reeder, the Nicholas GT Radial, Old Red BMW. Travis Reeder, if you recall, got the victory here last year. So he's looking to go back-to-back 22 and 23 here at E-Town. Past the lone inside. Clue, boy, smashed in that back bumper. Okay, I see you.
That was real risky, Jerry.
Yeah, that was no bueno, man. Looked like he almost hit tire. He smashed that thing in.
The way that tire was riding the outside edge of the pavement so early, it had me worried, but he managed to have that control due to the crush factor of the rear of that car. He was very fortunate for that. You can see the bumper and
that wall could have grabbed him, man.
Oh, easily, yeah. So big, long handbrake pull there. Didn't get all the way wide on zone 1, but does a better job on outside zone 2. You can see him, a few inches away from that wall with the bumper. Nicely done there. Does a pretty good job of filling the entire zone. Coming inside clip, off it slightly, but this is the risky part right here. His tire's right on the edge of the pavement so early, and he managed to just stick to the edge of the track somehow and not drop off the edge and get into that wall too much. So he was very fortunate there. The line was just enough that it managed to keep him on the track. Looking at that line right there, a couple of bobbles, but this transition right there to that, man, that was risky, but it paid off for him. He got across the finish line with angle, and we'll see what type of score he manages to put together here.
Yep.
In his qualifying run.
All right.
We see the guys starting up the blower out there. It looks like they need to get some debris off the track potentially. As we wait, Travis Reeder's score.
All right. See a little 20-year graphic there on the start. Looks good. And then knockout qualifying continues in 83.33. Travis Reeder jumps in number 2 position. X Factor, you can see 2, 3, and 4, averaging to a 3 overall, our 3 judges. All right, so we are about halfway through qualifying. And when we come back, we'll continue here with round 4, the Pro Championship, the Type S Gauntlet presented by AutoZone. When we come back, don't go anywhere.
First race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy, let's get you up to speed.
Lunchtime. Your workspace is ready.
Looks like you got a corner office.
Be part of something greater. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to the streets of Long Beach. Look at that. It is a beautiful day here in Southern California.
K&N, the official performance air filter of Formula Drift.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
This is Torque Motorsport.
Driving too fast, I don't wanna wait. We driving the days, we stepping in late. Nothing but blind and be on the tape. Let's be alive, but we gonna skate. Let's be alive, but we gonna
Holy
skate. You wanted to ride, you wanted to ride.
Rockstar energy gets me energized so I can go out and send it. Hustle on.
All right, the lights are on, and it's about to get lit. A little bit more litty here at Formula Drift, celebrating 20 years. 84 leads the pack with Taylor full pull hole. He's going to be in the show. Reeder with an 83.33, and right behind him, Adam LZ with also an 83.33. Deciding factor is the X Factor points, so Travis Reeder had more, so hence why he's currently sitting second. Remember, we'll lock in the top 24. We have 32 drivers here. I failed to mention that, obviously, with Vaughn Gittin Jr., Forrest Wang not here. Talking about Christoph Splush, Darren Kelly, and Federico Sharifo. So 32 cars in total. We'll still lock in the top 24, and then the remaining drivers will get re-racked. Looks like we are moving on to Daniel Stuckey, M-Spec Performance, S14.9. Get that clear. All right, got those Vitor tires. And here comes Stuckey. Stuckey. Coming through that start chicane. See what kind of initiation we got here from Stuckey. Yep. Yo, that was solid. Look at that. Just dropped right in. Swooped in. That second outside zone. Big, long one. Almost dropping tire. Looks like he throws up a little brown cloud. Past that inside clip, the M-Spec Performance S chassis into that third out and final outside zone. Well done from Stuckey, dude.
That's going to be a good score, Jared.
Stuckey.
That was a nice high energy run. It was fluid. Got the car in mostly the right places throughout. Looked good. I think there's going to be maybe even a little bit of X factor on that one. Yes. Let's look at the
Chris
initiation.
Yule, and he's this curmudgeon.
Poured on a lot of angle near the end of outside zone 1. Nice transition to 2. A couple of bobbles right there through the zone, but that's to be expected over those different surfaces right there. A little bit harder to control the car through that. And transition on it right there. But Stuckey doing a great job controlling the car overall. Good throttle usage. Look at that angle there. Transitions to zone 2. Like I said, a couple of little bobbles here and there, but overall, high energy run on throttle. Looking good from start to finish here. Not really a major mistake made. A couple of little things to get deductions for, but I think this is going to be a high score. That looks really good. I heard even a wow from over in the judges area, so don't hear those very often.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like I said, Chris Yule, kind of the Scrooge Mick X Factor over here. He holds on to him. Here we go. What do we got? 87.3 for Stuckey. So an average of 82.67. X Factor average 4.66. You can see how they're spread out. 4, 6, and 4. Hence the 86. Would that be right? 83, 81, 80. Yeah. Add them together. 87.33. Yep. So Daniel Stuckey assumes the #1 position. Congratulations to him. Hull in second, Reeder third. Bumps LZ down to 4th, and Castro rounding out the top 5. Wildberry on. You can see the ticker up there. Sorensen, Higa, Ryan Littoral, and Jeff Jones, top 10.
That's a decent jump up from Taylor Hull at 84 to 87.33. We do have some heavy hitters coming up, so we should have some good runs coming up, and this sets the bar pretty high coming in.
We're going to ride along with Simon Olsen. Simon Olsen now, and reference that live data down there. Again, G-force, what's going on, miles per hour.
All right, hopefully we have it up as we go through the run. I think this is just a different camera view that we have right now, stationary camera, but that'll give you a live feedback, a live representation of what's on the side of the windshield.
Here we go.
You can see G-forces in green, yellow to red, blue is neutral.
Yep. So Simon Olsen here, 45 miles per hour. Doesn't sound like a lot, but obviously going sideways, wheel speed much higher than that. Now coming to that second outside zone. Good car control from Simon Olsen. First ever, this season, 4th round ever in an LS-powered S chassis. Never been driven S chassis, never driven LS power. So this learning curve is very steep for Simon Olsen. That fuel suspension S chassis operated by the Bach Cheese Camp. Looks like it suits him well. Looking good.
All right, decent initiation here from Olsen. Doesn't fill outside zone 1, but coming to outside zone 2, gets a tire on the line, gets over the line, and starts filling it better as he goes through the zone, and then comes off near the end, unfortunately. So missed the beginning, got in the middle, fell off at the end. Gives a little tap to the inside clip, and then doesn't get all the way wide at the beginning of outside zone 3, but does get a little bit wider near the end. So line-wise, suffering a little bit here. Kind of got into the zone, but really riding that inside line on zone #1. Like to see deeper line there. Didn't get into the beginning of outside zone 2, like I said, but got in the middle and then sort of left it at the end. Kind of did that quick in and out in the middle. Like to see a full ride through that whole zone. And then right there through zone 3, the inside line's, I know, getting covered a little bit by rubber, but you can still tell where it is. And Simon is not really all the way deep into that zone, but I think zone 3 was probably his best zone overall, comparing all 3 of them. So let's await the judges' score, see what they thought about this run from Simon Olsen.
Yep, I think he's got a good one. Let's see, Simon. Thanks for joining us out here, throwing a little shaka, a little hang loose. School's out for summer. What's going on, guys? You kicking it? All right, 79.33 is 79.33. Simon Olsen puts him into 14th position. You can see X Factor leaving some points out there. All right, who do we got here? Kazuya Taguchi. Kazuya on the box. On the box here at the last round of competition. Got him last year in St. Louis. A lot of momentum from Kazuya Taguchi. The ISR performance. Up garage. Yep, there it is, right into the outside zone. Oh, actually exceeds it, knocks over. That's, again, the indicator of the outside zone. Outside zone 2. Very fluid from Kazuya Taguchi. Tight on the inside clip. And how's he going to finish? Strong to real strong goes Kazuya Taguchi.
You just hear that VR screaming, Jared.
Yep.
Especially near the end of that run.
Yeah.
Got pretty aggressive on throttle. A couple of little areas to address. You can see the initiation was pretty solid. He did go wide there. He dropped the tire, hit the zone marker. So we haven't seen anybody do that yet, going real wide. Zone 2, pretty decent job through zone 2. The car looked really settled, looked confident through there, tight on the inside clip. Transitioning here to zone 3, about midline through zone 3, and then right at the end, he really laid on the throttle, smoked those tires up. But big initiation, big angle, kind of pulled angle out a little bit there. You can see through the middle of the zone, dropped the tire, and then coming through zone 2, on throttle, big angle, car looked settled, he looked very confident, car looked really settled. Let's watch zone 2 again. Coming inside clip number 1. And to the transition right here to outside zone 3. So about midline through there, then gets wider near the end of the zone, but definitely some good throttle usage through there. So Taguchi with an 85.33.
Nice. 85.33 puts him into second.
Not a whole lot of X Factor points in there. He had 2.
Yeah.
Not sure how that was divvied up. Potentially just from one judge, but got a couple of points there to help him out. Got him up to an 85.33, like you said. Puts him in second place. 2 points off of Daniel Stuckey in first currently.
Stuckey, just with that aggressive line, I think that's what really paid off. I think what Brian said earlier is resonating with me most is it looks like he's going to ride off the car, but then doesn't.
Yep.
You know, just be intentional, be aggressive. And again, that's what they're looking for. Snappy transitions. All right, we're now into our top 10. Top 10 drivers currently in the point standings. Ryan Turk, the 411 Ryan Turk Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla. Ryan Turk, one of the Rockstar pilots, him and Frederick Osbo. Ryan Turk needs a victory. You know, a lot of eyeballs on him coming to this season. He's got the making of a championship. It's just certain factors here and there have just a little bit of bad luck here and there. And his wife and son are in the building. So we got Shannon and Roman cheering him on. Here we go. A bit of good luck on his side. Well done in that first outside zone, transitioning into outside zone 2. Puts it right there. Look at that, riding the line. The Nitto tires just kicking off a ton of smoke. The hot hatchback past the inside clip, and one more final outside zone. Squatting it in the Bullfrog. Rivet. Well done. I think just, you know, I had a chance to drive the Toyota GR Corolla Circuit Edition earlier.
You do some donuts, Jared?
It's all-wheel drive.
What does that mean? Come on.
Yeah. No, I just stick to announcing, dude. You break, you buy. You know what I mean? I'm good.
Not at the drive event.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ryan Turek, great job on outside zone 1. Looks pretty aggressive through this run. He's got a lot of throttle going on. Looked pretty confident coming to zone number 2. Nice line through outside zone 2, running that outside line all the way around with that right rear tire. Pretty decent job on the inside clip, maybe the first hash mark. And then transitioning to zone 3, riding that line nice and close to the wall right there with confidence. No hesitation, no bobble, just on throttle to the wall. Good handbrake pull there at initiation, transitioning to zone 2. Looking good, looking solid. A lot of green on that windshield light. Looking very confident throughout this run. Throttle heavy, smoky. Nice transition right there.
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, you see the...
Did he qualify first twice this year? Because he qualified first in Long Beach.
Yep. Was it
Orlando?
Orlando. Yeah.
Orlando.
So he's definitely one to put it down in qualifying.
He's been a bridesmaid a couple times.
What's that?
He's been a bridesmaid a couple times this year. Just needs to get up to the bride position. Does that not work? In this context?
92.
I think he made it happen right there.
Oh, man, there you go. He's working his way up to officially getting married to a carbon fiber trophy. How about that? Look at those X factors, 7, 8, and 5.
Wow, look at one judge gave him a 94.
Yep.
So
93. And look at Chris Yule, again, the Scrooge. Bah humbug.
Hey, but
89 out of 100.
Gave him 5 X factor points. That's pretty solid from Chris.
He doesn't dole them out. He doesn't just give them out.
He doesn't hand them out to anyone. That's what I'm saying.
Chris is giving me a look. I can't hear him because my headphones.
No, he said, a 5's pretty solid, I don't give those out every day. So.
Well, it's pretty solid, dude.
Yeah, it's good.
Not going to lie. Not going to lie.
Hey, he's consistently what he does. So
yeah,
he's the most...
He's like, stay off my lawn. That's Chris
To
Yule.
everybody.
To everybody.
Yeah.
Stay off my lawn.
So
Please stay off the freaking grass.
92 is a big jump up from an 87.3.
RCP, Rome Charpentier, Garageistic, BMW, giving Modern Tell. He was shredding earlier in practice in Rome Charpentier. Transitions into that second outside zone. Good job feeling all that. Look at 180 degrees. Big sweeping left-hand turn. And now into that final outside zone. You know what? What's going on here is, again, very straightforward, qualifying, putting a run in the books. I'm nervous / excited for tomorrow's head-to-head and Saturday's head-to-head. Obviously, pro spec and then pro.
Well, after this.
Yeah.
So big initiation from Rome right there. You can see that he's getting out wide on zone 1. His transition wasn't as snappy as, say, Ryan Turk's that we just saw right there, but it was okay coming to outside zone number 2. Played it a little bit safe approaching. Maybe the second hash mark on the inside clip right there. It could be a little bit tighter and not all the way wide at the beginning of outside zone 2, but gets wider as he gets through the zone. So let's look at that initiation again. Big handbrake pull there, midline through outside zone 1. And then again, that transition right there could have been a little more dynamic. Dynamicism. Coming through zone 2, did a better job through there. Transitioning to zone 3. Got deep at the wall. Not deep early on, but at the wall. Good throttle through the finish, though. He should get a decent score here.
All right, Rome Charpentier. Does he better than 92 Ryan Turk? Do you think that's enough?
I do not think that's enough.
Okay. I agree with
you.
Posing the questions.
Into Hades. I don't know. I'm bad at this when I'm not paying attention on the scoring. Just a little bit. It makes me seem less serious when I say it that way. People don't. I don't know. I don't really know.
Dr. Far From Evil. There's Rome Charpentier waving. Mom and Dad are in the building. They're cheering him on. Got the Vitor tires, the Magnuson Supercharger, NRG Innovations. He's always giving out some goods and smiles on face. 83.33. RCP, Rome Charpentier, puts him into 7th position. It's the X Factor, the average 2. Who do we have next? Working our way down the line. Looks like Odi Bakshis. Bakshis field suspension. Team radio F15. Odi gonna get aggressive. All right, so kind of straight line approach, not flirting with the wall too much. Pedal commander on the side of the car. Outside zone, the big LS supercharged setup. Been campaigning for multiple years. Another driver with a lot of potential to be a champion. Talking about being bridesmaid, never a bride. right there. He's caught the bouquet, just, you know, just hasn't committed, you know?
Maybe someday, Jared.
Someday.
Someday it'll be his day. So on initiation, maybe a slower rotation there to angle. Didn't fill outside zone 1. Didn't really fill outside zone 2. Looked like he hesitated a little bit approaching zone 2 right there. And you can see more of a midline through that zone, through the whole zone actually. Inside clip over the first hash mark. So pretty solid job there on that inside clip. But then midline again through outside zone number 3 until the very end of the zone where he gets that left rear tire right at the edge. But overall, sort of a mid-level energy run maybe. We didn't see the shining example of a high-level run here from Odie. The example that we have seen from him in the past maybe. A little bit more conservative through this run, not throwing the car all the way out. You can see a little bit of a hesitation there in transition. And again, does fill that latter part of outside zone number 3, but missed that wide line for the majority of it. So throwing, you know, that run out there, leaving some points on the table, not really maximizing his run, not fulfilling all the zones. So this score may be, you know, in the mid to low 80s.
All right, we'll soon
Maybe.
find out.
We'll see if I'm right on that. I could be way off.
You've been wrong before. and we'll be wrong again.
Multiple times.
Field suspension. See the Type S lights, the official lighting of Formula Drift. This is the K&N knockout qualifying. 82 and 82.
Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, there you go. See, look at that.
Look at me.
Look at you. Who'd have thought? No way.
I'm learning as I go.
Mr. Balloon Hands. No way. No way, no how.
Next up, Jonathan Hurst.
Hey, Hurst has been killing it right now.
Is this car still really loud, Jared?
It's ridiculously loud. Right. It's like offensively cool. Speaking of cool, he's sponsored by Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool, that's the name. That name again is Mr. Cool. Coming to that first outside zone transition, outside zone 2, the carbon Kevlar, exposed door and hood. Look at that. Well done. My Tour tires, there it is. Gunshot ring out with bell. Hood with tires shredding. Yup, transition back. Again, a great canter about him. The pride of Paducah, Jonathan Hurst. Picking up that sponsor just a few rounds in, so excited for him.
Look at that tail light, Jared.
One tail lights.
All right, looking at his initiation. Did not get into outside zone 1, Jared. Unfortunately, that left rear was not in the box at all. Right rear gets in the box. Doesn't get wide right away, but maybe about a third of the way through, gets all the way wide. Runs that outside line for the majority of outside zone number 2. Pretty tight on inside clip number 1. About midline through outside zone number 3. So we'd like to see him wider through that area. Let's watch it from the ground cameras here. Pow, pow, pow. So missed outside zone 1. Really didn't get in that zone. Transitioning to zone 2. About midline. Then goes wider as he gets into the zone. But outside zone number 1, I think, is what's gonna hurt him on line slightly. Outside zone 3, running that somewhat midline, and then sort of mid to wide-ish near the end of the zone, but leaving some line points on the table.
Top 6 left to go. Where is the Cash Racing? Mr. Cool, Vitor, AZ Rags. I know the boys are watching. New livery, new look. Same old pride of Paducah. Turk, that number 1 qualifying position. Can you do it 3 events, number 1 qualifier?
We're going to find out very soon.
But again, it's about that conversion. That qualifying to carbon trophy conversion ratio. All right. Scores are coming in, and bingo bongo. 81 and 81 for Jonathan Hurst. Puts him into 14th position. Again, you just want to be in top 24 at minimum, and 32 drivers is who's competing. So again, do the math. Only 8 vehicles. You know, earlier today we had 15 drivers for 8 spots. Wow. So now everybody's got a spot as long as you get a score on the board. Even though we have 32 drivers, we still will lock in the top 24. The remaining 8 drivers will be seated pending on the better of the 2. Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Whoa! Goes and kind of exceeds the track there. We'll have to take a look back and run it back. That Permatex BMW on GT Radial tires. Dylan Hughes, him and his pops. His pops was a spotter. He was in his ear, and they were analyzing and breaking down footage of what seems to be working out for him. And I think he was going for that X Factor, man. just bit off a little more than he could chew, exceeding, but you know, it was for sure 1, maybe 2. The Forge Star wheels going off course. Wrap there in the GT radials. Let's see what we got here. Get the truth serum, as we call it, the eye in the sky. It honestly could just be that back left.
Yeah, I think it was just one tire that dropped off the edge right there, but good for him for being aggressive and not going too far off, just a little bit. Pretty decent line through outside zone 2. Was wide, then sort of in the middle-ish, and then back wide again, all right on the inside clip. And then draws a pretty nice arc through outside zone number 3. Could have been a little closer to that wall, but overall pretty smooth. So, super wide there on outside zone number 1, of course. Did drop that one tire. Nice arc through the beginning of zone 2. Comes off a little bit and then gets wide again. Pretty decent on inside clip 1, maybe over the first hash mark-ish area. And then an okay line through outside zone number 3. But like you said, it looked like he was going for the X Factor side of things right there. Pushed it a little too much on outside zone 1. And of course, when you do get to the point where you're dropping a tire like that, maybe you're not as committed as you should be on throttle because you're off and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not really where I'm supposed to be. How wide am I going to go right here? But he managed to hold it together, made the run look pretty good overall.
Yep, I concur. I concur, my friend. All right. Canyon Naka qualifying. Dylan Hughes with 89.6. So the X Factor, you know, going for it, like you said, aggressive nature.
All the way up to second place.
Boom. 89.66 for Dylan the Dozer Hughes. All right, we're in the top 5 territory. Chris the Force Forsberg. This is home track. He grew up in Pennsylvania. The Drift Alliance was built here, you know, between him and Tony Angelo, Von Gittin Jr., Ryan Turk. You know, you get names like Wagner, the Bloodmasters. You get Matt Petty, Tim Johns-Rudd. I mean, so many amazing people. B-Dub, Ryan Wilkerson. Here we go. NOS Energy Drink, all new Nissan Z. See Forsberg, he's been driving really well today earlier. Oh boy, look at that, goes way off course. So drops it in the dirt. Man, looked like he was gonna grab him. Man, the attitude of the car. All right, now the BC Racing coiler is being put to full effect. Goes across the finish line. You know, we saw Dylan, you know, drop a tire. Chris a little more aggressively and going in the dirt. So, you know, managing that, but Chris trying to be aggressive as well.
Yeah, I think outside zone 2 has a bigger drop-off on the backside there, and it's going to affect the car quite a bit more than the drop-off at outside zone number 1. So if you're going to drop a tire somewhere, do it on outside zone 1, I guess. But good job through outside zone 1. Nice on the line, but you can see there, over the edge of the pavement, down that concrete ramp into the dirt, that's going to affect it quite a bit. And you saw that he was able to recover from it, but at that moment in time, it wasn't looking too solid for him right there. It looked a little out of control. Brought it back in, kind of reeled it in a little bit. But look at outside zone 1, nicely done through there on throttle, nice angle, decent transition right there. Bit of maybe a hesitation near the end of it, but that tire drop right there is one that he's pretty lucky to have recovered from. Look at that tire way up in the air. It's a big drop off back there.
Yeah. That's why I said it looked like it was almost going to flip, dude. I mean, that front left was absolutely off the ground. Hopefully, I'm sure Victoria and Vital Focus, they're on it. Got On3 Media. Got Kyle Cross out there. Got Andy, Milwaukee Andy. Bunch of photogs snapping away.
That little brown cloud you're talking about was a big brown cloud.
Big brown cloud. Big brown cloud. That baby. No squeezy. All right, we are getting the top 5. Chris Forsberg currently 5th in points. Doing the math here. Got 12 total runs. X Factor of 5. Look at that. So it pays off. It pays off for Forsberg. 87.66. Look at that. 5, 7, and 3. There it is. Little Scrooge McExy over here. 3 out of 10. But 83, 84, 81. Consistency. You know what I mean? If you're judging on the same scale, you're judging on the same scale. So I agree, you know, as I'm razzing Chris Ewell about his stinginess of giving an X Factor. Like I said, 5. That's a lot. Here we go, James Dean, 3-time champion, and now joined the likes of the RTR camp. That AutoZone Fun Haver Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. We saw Adam LZ with a great run earlier. How is James Dean going to fare? lot of smoke being kicked off the back. I think the attitude of the Mustang bouncing around the first right-hand drive, all-new Ford Mustang. Now into that final outside zone. Good and aggressive, a little blinded by the light. Type S lights, lighten it up. Coming across. This gentleman has been driving quite a bit over in Europe. And just everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
So stepped initiation from James Dean right there. Didn't get all the way wide on outside zone 1, but did okay. Through outside zone 2, about a midline. Like to see him wider there as well. Left some points on the table right there. Could have widened that out. Not as wide as Forsberg maybe, but definitely could, you know, had a couple of feet of pavement at least to fill better there. But on outside zone 3, did a better job. Let's look at that initiation. You see that step initiation. Okay on zone 1, but it's zone 2 where he's leaving some points behind. Right there, it's in the middle of the midline through there, and did that through the majority of the outside zone 2. And then inside clip 1, maybe about 1 hash mark off. Transition to zone 3, where he did a better job. Pretty much all the way out wide on zone 3 right there. And it's interesting to see the way the points break down. You know, looking at Forsberg's score, of course, he did great everywhere else and had 1 tire drop. It doesn't mean that the whole run is going to receive a 0 or an incomplete, or he's going to get huge deductions. So it's, you know, they take into account all the good stuff he did and then minus for the deduction for the error that he made. But the error was quick, dropped the tire, got back on track, got back online. So overall, you know, not a huge deduction in that area.
Here is the top 5 coming into New Jersey. You can see Osbo leading the pack. James Dean currently sitting 4th. Field, who's up next, wins in Long Beach. Chelsea Denofa won in Orlando. And, you know, take a look at that. Frederick Osbo having not won yet, which is, you know, again, we've seen it before with 85.33 for James Dean real quick. 85.33 puts him in 5th. Chris Forsberg's won a championship without winning an event. That needs to be repeated. So, or like bears repeating as far as a statistic.
Yeah, so what you're saying is in one season, he placed well throughout the season, but he never won an event, and he still managed to win the championship.
That's crazy.
Season. Yeah.
All right, 3 to go. Turk holds on to that #1 spot with a 92. Matt Field, the Borla exhaust. You can see the Lean Customs. If you haven't picked up your, again, limited edition Lean Customs pins, head over to the Formula Drift booth. I saw they had a display over there. Also the Heat Wave, you can feel it, the Heat Wave visual. Got some new sweet shades. Talked to my boy Justin, Lee Sanders. Heat Wave visual, dropped some cool glass. I know DBK, Dirt Bike Kids did one too as well. Here we go. Matt Field initiates, rides the wall, gets in that first outside zone. Now transitions, looks like he got a little battle damage on the door on that driver's side. Now into that second outside zone, fills all of it. Master class, well done by the 777. See if he pulls the one-arm bandit. What's going to come up? Those bright white Forge Star wheels, the Momo gloves working in the cockpit. And again, a lot of eyeballs on a few different contenders coming to this season. You know, obviously, notably Matt Field. It came down to that final round in Irwindale, which got wet, got slippery, went to the wall. But the likes of Field, Ryan Turk, Odie Bakshi's, Chelsea Denofa, these are drivers that have not won a championship, but a lot of eyeballs on them.
Yep. Looking at his initiation, pretty decent, almost all the way wide in outside zone 1. Decent transition there to outside zone number 2. Almost perfectly on that outside line. You can see he leaves it a little bit in the middle section of the track right there, but overall, really great job on this run. Nice high angle through outside zone 3. The car looks really settled. It looked like he was confident throughout the track. Didn't really hesitate anywhere that I could see. It looked like a confident, smooth run overall from Matt Field. Good transition right here to zone 2. And riding a nice line all the way through outside zone number 2. Real settled. Didn't see the bobbles that we saw from some other drivers going over that different concrete patch in the center there that used to be the drag strip. So overall, really great job from Matt Field. Looked smooth. Didn't look super X-Factory, but it looked very confident overall.
I would concur. I agree. Just fluid, putting one in the books.
Looks like he's already had a rough weekend.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's got some battle damage.
Thursday.
Battle damage on the door. The Texas Speed power plant. Lucas Oil run through the veins. Again, winner at round 1. Really committed to the game, and you know, as far as he wants a championship, well, really, really bad. Here we go, an 89 for Matt Field, but he's still having fun concurrently, you know, just getting out there playing golf. Him and his wife, they're, you know, see that sweet hat, he's selling some gear. Just a busy guy. You know, the Drift Cave, if you haven't followed the Cave Chronicles, follows him and his team, you know, him being the lead caveman. He's got all the cavemen that work for and with him, managing a lot of cars, a lot of vehicles. Here we go. All right, so Chelsea DeNova, again, winner at our most recent round in Orlando. The Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD throws it aggressively in that first outside zone, drops and knocks over that cone indicator. Rides and uses all of the course. He does come out a little bit earlier on outside zone 2, does not stay in the entirety of the outside zone. Now into outside zone 3. Big angle for him. Oh no.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look down to the judges on that one. Looked like he unwound the wheel before the finish line. He was on a real tight line as he came through outside zone 3, and then, I don't know, he seemed to lift off the throttle, let the car unwind.
We've seen that a couple times today.
So good job on zone 1. Man, he was right on that line. Could not have been any further without going off. Started off solid in zone 2, but then left it early. Coming to inside clip number 1, or the only inside clip that we have on this track. Pretty decent job there. And right here, look, he throws a lot of angle and then pretty much drives over the finish line. I would like to look down at the guys over there and see what they're going to do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be an incomplete.
Incomplete signal from the judges. So I don't know if that was a mechanical issue from Chelsea. It didn't seem like staying on throttle would have hurt him in any way. Maybe he felt like he was going to spin through there, but he ended up unwinding the wheel, straightening the car up, and driving over the finish line.
Yeah, you know, what that comes down to in my mind is it's unchaseable. You know, if you're chasing him down, you straighten out, you're going to hit him.
Right.
So, you know, you need to power through and have it at angle. So, big upset here. You know, we saw this earlier in Pro Spec, right? I mean, you saw Rudy Hansen, who won, you know, the first round of Pro Spec. And now here we are. So an incomplete for Chelsea DeNova, the Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD, most recent winner, has an incomplete. So he will have to be forced to a second run. Fortunately for him, he will be in the show. 32 drivers and vehicles all together. So now we go down to Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. Again, defending back-to-back and now 3-time champion in the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra on Nitto tires. Had a chance to drive again that all-new 2024 45th anniversary GR Supra with him riding shotgun. He was a little nervous. He knew how much talent I had, so he you know, at the end of the day, he trusted me. He was trustful.
He was probably intimidated by you, Jared.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I'm a 3-time Formula Drift champion. He's the voice of Formula Drift. You know.
Did you take it easy on him? Or?
No, he was nervous. He was nervous. All right, so can Frederick Osbo knock off his Toyota Rockstar Nitto teammate off that #1 spot? Here goes Osbo. Big yank of the brake. He slides right into that first outside zone, coming to the second outside zone. He's, again, your defending and now 3-time FD champion here at E-Town. Dropping the hammer in that final outside zone. Is this enough? A 92 is what Ryan Turk's got. Gets aggressive. Look at that wheel speed, man. I mean, absolutely burning him.
That was pretty nice, Jared.
That was really well done. Is it enough? Is it enough?
Real accurate.
Flirting with it?
I think he's flirting with it. For
okay.
Sure. Yeah.
92 is the score to beat. Checking the pressure in the Nittos wrapped around the Forge Star wheels.
I'm testing my memory here, but I think he was more accurate than Turk was. If you look at where he's placing his car on the track, through outside zone 1, that was beautiful, right on the edge. Outside zone 2, just missed it. The very end of it, left slightly early, but overall, really, really great. And then look at that line through zone 3. So 1, 2, and 3 on line is beautiful. On line on outside zone 1, I don't think he can do much better than that without surpassing that line. Could have been in the zone slightly earlier on zone 2 if you really want to nitpick, but beautifully done. I think this is the best example of how to fill all 3 zones on this track that we've seen today so far. And yeah, I think he's going to get a real high score with this, Jared. Real smooth. I think the X Factor actually had some jam to it too as well. So this could be number 1. Yeah.
Has some jam to it?
Jam.
All right, here we go. So again, Ryan Turk out front, Dylan Hughes, Matt Field. Is Freddie going to get up there? 92 again. So Frederick Osbo currently first in points. Yeah. And again, number one qualifier gets 3 points, which might not sound like a lot, but it could come to that at our final round, and it has. It's come down to mere points. Here we go, Frederick Osbo with a 94. He gets that number one spot from his Rockstar teammate, Ryan Turk. Look at that, 686. All right, so Chris Yule, that's the most X Factor points you've given out. Congratulations. So 88, 88, 86.
Probably ever.
And the average, a 94. Frederick Osbo, being the final driver, grabs that number one spot in that Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra. So, and here's how it plays out. Osbo, Turk, Hughes, Field, Forsberg in 5th. Stuckey, a great showing there. Now, again, we'll lock in the top 24, so all the names you're seeing here locked in. One and done. Adam LZ, great result for him. Qualifies 11th. Higa, 17th. That's great. Also, Ryan Littoral. Now, again, the remaining drivers. Thorne, Yeager, Beecham, Gucci, Mohan, Novak, and then Carney and Denofa. That's crazy, right? So 8 drivers, 32 in total. They just have to rerun and see where they land.
How often have we had only one incomplete in qualifying?
It's been like 1 week since you looked at me. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We have more qualifying. It's been quite some time, all joking aside. We have our second run for our 8 drivers that are in the not-so-great 8. So the Touring Items Type S, the official lighting of Formula Drift. This is deemed the Gauntlet presented by AutoZone. When we come back, we'll see those 8 drivers to see where they land here at round 4 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship here at E-Town.
This is Torque Motorsport.
Driving too fast, I don't wanna wait. We driving the days, we stepping in late. Nothing but blind and real the tape. Let's be alive and we gonna skate. Let's be alive and we gonna skate. You wanted to ride, you wanted to ride.
GT Radio. Experience ultra high performance.
For 30 Formula Drift teams, our professional Tire Stacks crew will mount over 1,000 tires during a weekend to keep our drivers on track, competing at the highest level. TireStacks.com, the official tire service of Formula Drift.
You won't believe what a K&N intake will do for your truck. I thought a cold air intake would just make my truck sound better, but I installed a K&N intake. Now I can feel the power as soon as I hit the gas. It was such a simple upgrade, but it has totally transformed my truck. And now, I'll never own a truck without a K&N intake. You've got to experience it for yourself. Get one for your truck at knfilters.com.
He had really some success, but everyone on the team believed in him. We put him behind the wheel of a Mustang, and this year it's a story for itself. He's been having a really, really awesome job this year.
And now the judges have to factor in both runs.
I'm just pumped. I'm back in my groove, but put it behind us, moved on, and we've made it back up to the top.
Both drivers, as you said, Jared, but look at the pressure here by JTP. Matt Field out front, trying to make one more go at it here as they come through this last turn.
I was right there on his door. He pulled me a little bit on the run-up, but I closed it immediately, got on him, Every transition was like within inches of them. I gave him a couple little bumps, but ended up finishing all right.
Toro Masayama put on one heck of a run ages ago, but look at Chelsea Denova. You see the attitude of the car. You see him get into formation. Masayama for a little more angle at it. And Chelsea maxing out the angle. Let's see this transition. How do they handle this?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Gauntlet here in New Jersey. We're here at still laugh at me, Jared. Look at this big, beautiful figure eight. I love this Coliseum. You can see the whole track from anywhere you sit here. It's pretty unique in that sense. You know, it's not one of the big, long, sweeping tracks, so everybody can see all the action. It's not the fastest track, but there's a lot of action here. Of course, like any track that looks simple on the surface, it's a lot more complicated than it looks. And we've seen some drivers here in qualifying have some issues with filling outside zone 1, doing a good job in outside zone 2. So this is going to be our second qualifying session. These are the drivers that were below that top 24. So they have to basically restack themselves in qualifying here. They have to do a second run. And you can see we have Kyle Mohan, Ola Yeager, Nick Novak, Robert Thorne, Dean Carney, Ken Gucci, Trent Beecham, and Chelsea Denofa. Wherever they fall, even if they get 100 points, they can't do any better than, 25th? Yeah, so these drivers will be doing their second qualifying lap. Hopefully they'll have the benefit of having done one lap already and they'll have a better feel for the track.
And also let it be noted, we take the better score of the two. So in the case of Chelsea Denofa, if he gets a second incomplete, guess what?
What does that mean, Jared?
31 drivers. He's
no
out.
way. He can be knocked out if he gets another
incomplete. He can be knocked out.
incomplete.
If you get dual incompletes, why would you move on?
That's true. You can't move on with an incomplete.
Boom.
Yeah.
And here it is, Fredrik, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo, that Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra. Congratulations to him, our #1 qualifier. Best, Ryan Turks 92 with a 94.
That means
he's 3 points richer.
He's the bridesmaid right now?
Yeah, he hasn't gotten a win yet. He has been on the box, but not the top spot.
All right. That was a great run, Jared. Real clean, smooth, very accurate. That's what we'd like to see. That's what we're hoping all the drivers put together, and that's what we're hoping we see tomorrow in competition as well. So This is what the drivers need to watch tonight, this qualifying run, and say, okay, how do I make my car do that? How do I achieve that level of accuracy throughout the course if they want to be on the top step of the box tomorrow? You know, we're going to see some amazing driving, but we're also going to see
maybe what?
Some weather. I don't know.
Right now?
Tomorrow I'm talking about competition.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, the day after as well. So that's going to throw a whole other wrench into everything if it happens, but hopefully it stays dry, and then everybody just gets to compete. Now they're all doing some laps in the dark, which, you know, we're going to end up in that sort of, let's say, situation, condition on Saturday. But of course, we don't know what the temperature is going to be throughout the day. This was a cooler day. We're looking at more heat, hopefully coming up in the next couple of days. So that's going to change everything as well. There's so much for these drivers to contemplate and to sort of come to terms with in terms of getting out here on the track and doing a good job. And we know that these drivers don't get a lot of laps. And of course, you're going into qualifying sort of cold, hoping that you remember what the track felt like earlier, but what's it going to be like right now. So it's always tricky. We've heard a lot of drivers tell us, you know, from IndyCar down to other motorsports as well, saying this is the most stressful thing I've ever had to do is qualify for a drift event with Formula Drift. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, Tanner Faust, speaking of Rockstar, you know, said, you know, race, stage rally, you know, I mean, you name it. You know, he's racing Pikes Peak this weekend in Radford. Most stressful thing he's ever done is qualifying for Formula Drift, right? Fredrik Osbo, the 94, Ryan Turks, so the Rockstar Toyota pit is glowing, literally and figuratively, 94, 92. Dylan Hughes, Matt Field, and Chris Forsberg. All right, here's a courtesy of Rain-X. Take it from Turk. Ryan Turk, that is.
Here at FD New Jersey, I'm going to say precision is one of the biggest things, and that crosses multiple areas. We want your gearing perfect. Your brakes have to be working. You want to be grazing walls and not even bouncing off of them because you're going to put your car straight into it. So you really need to be driving precise at all times. Those big braking zones before a lot of the transitions, so you really want to be able to brake hard, but be close to your opponent in front of you. So it's a very difficult track to stay close, stay precise, and not contact your opponent or the walls outside your car. Take it from Turk.
Formula Drift is brought to you by BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. Torque Drift 2, the official drifting game of Formula Drift. NGK Spark Plugs, the ignition specialist.
All right, lights are on. Fans sticking around, just checking out our final 8 runs. And we are back here tomorrow for Pro Spec. All right, so in Pro Spec, 2 o'clock, 2 to 5 for top 32, and 6:30 to 10 p.m. for our top 16. And then same bat time on Saturday for Pro here at E-Town. All right. What are we waiting for?
Qualifying.
What are we waiting for?
Qualifying.
I know.
Yeah. How you been, Jared?
Good, man.
What
Busy.
have you been up to?
A little bit of golfing, a lot of dadding, a lot of husbanding. Kids are on summer break.
Did you take your kids golfing? You combine the two?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, are they good?
T-Bone crushes it. And both of my kids are good. They get after it. But just like somebody else I know, jack of all trades, master of none. But no, been good, man. Grid life, doing voiceover. Gonna do another podcast. I have a podcast with AAA called Motorland.
Wicked.
And also I have a podcast, just signed the deal, Electrify Expo.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Doing a podcast for Electrify.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's all about EV and
I heard those electric cars are of the future, really, right? I mean, it's a new way. Tell me more, Jared.
Yeah, please. All right, here's our past champions. Taking a look. Yesteryear, 20 years ago, some 19 champions, but yes, 19 champions over the years. And we crown 23. That'll be 20 years, but you can see multiple repeat customers, including Sam Hubinette, 04 and 06. Tanner, 07 and 08. Forsberg, he did it in 9, 14, and 16. See Dai Yoshihara, Daigo Saito, Essa, 2013. James Dean was on that 3-year tear, 17, 18, 19. Von Kitten Jr. took him 10 years, 2010 and 2020. And then most recently, Frederick Osbo, 21, 22. TBD, 23. Who's going to beat?
What, 3 of those drivers are at Pikes Peak this weekend?
That's right. Tanner, Reese, Dai. Yep. There you go. Yeah, cool. Pikes Peak. Hopefully they got clear weather, clear to send.
Yeah, I saw some of the practice sessions were delayed, and then they were, I think because the middle and top were cloudy and foggy and rainy and everything, they just decided to not do them.
How we doing,
today.
people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Big Vikings fan right there.
Where?
Big Vikings fan right there. Big
oh, yeah, right there. Yeah.
Oh, hey, he's showing his belly. What's going on there, bro?
This is a family show,
chilling.
sir.
Chilling. You're supposed to sit on the bench. Like it's like you're just sitting on the ground. That's all good. It's all good. All right. The Pedal Commander burnout box is occupied. No vacancy.
That's a long, narrow burnout box, Jared. It takes some real skill to stay within those walls.
Yeah, right. But again, the double burnout box expedites, gets the drivers up to the start line quicker, which is great.
Yep.
All right, we can see the car stage over there. This is Kyle Mohan. He'll be the first of our 8 bottom drivers. See Beecham, see Gucci, but first up, Lone Star. That is the Rotary Last Starfighter, Kyle Mohan. All right, off the start line, Matt Sopa going to send him off. Kyle Mohan.
So Kyle's sitting on a 75.33 from his first lap. See if he can better that and increase his chances of getting a little bit higher.
25th or 32nd in the spots that we filmed. Again, as you said, Ryan, earlier, can't do any better than 25th. Woo, Kyle with an aggressive flick there. All right, Renewable Lubricants, Mazatrix, RX-8. Second outside zone. Dips a little tire off, but very fluid. Now the E flex full, hard on the brakes. You saw that. So again, the momentum lights going fully red just like that. So it's very interesting there. And keep in mind the momentum lights that go green to move to yellow to red, right? It's G's. It's not, has nothing to do with the brake lights.
Right, or the throttle or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. So he had a decent initiation, missed part of outside zone 1, and kind of had a low angle situation at the transition area. And then outside zone 2, filled it mostly. Could have been a little bit deeper there in the zone. Like you said, came in hot into outside zone 3, got the car decelled, got onto a wide line through that zone. So right there, a little bit of a bobble at initiation. Didn't fill all of his outside zone 1. And then on transition here, big decel from him. But if you're coming in fast, you got to slow the car down, get yourself out to that wall. And then through outside zone 2, left it a little bit early. Transitioning to outside zone 3 right here. Again, the reds came on slightly. And then good line for outside zone 3. You can hear that throttle really winding up. And of course, it's really easy to tell with this type of drivetrain when he's on throttle or not. Get that different sound that we're not really accustomed to with the other cars, that sort of high-pitched sound from the Wankel rotary in there. But let's see what type of score that our friend Kyle put together here. 77.66.
77.66 for
Does
Kyle
better.
Mohan. Yep. All right, so Mohan 77.66. And he does better, as you said. So it puts him in a third out of the bottom 8. So again, that puts him into 5, 6, 7, 27th. 27th place. Next up, looks like Ulla Jaeger, Japan Auto, Kenda Tires, Toyota Supra, another Norwegian driver. 3 Norwegian drivers, and of course Greta Cosmo. See how it initiates? Little green, red, yellow, all over the place here, like a Christmas tree. Now on that second outside zone. Inside clip looking a lot more refined. And then Jaeger into, just I say that, does not get out to that last outside zone. He got out to it, but just not as deep and as fluid as we would have liked.
Where was this level of aggression and excitement on run 1? This is
Nerves.
what we needed.
Sometimes nerves, sometimes mental.
Yeah.
You know, it's not being scared. I think it's just more of nerves.
Yeah, he did a much better job in outside zone 1. Got right out to the line there, looking pretty good. Bit of a slower transition right there. Gets into outside zone number 2. Doesn't fill it fully, but his tire's in the box, so that's a good start. Leaves it a little bit early, nice and tight on inside clip. And as he transitions for outside zone 3, see big angle right here and has to pull some out. I think he just over-rotated the car a little bit and had to pull a little bit of angle out to keep himself on the right part of the track right there. But good job in outside zone 1. That was really nice. Transitions here for 2. Missed the beginning, but got to about the mid part of that zone. Rode around the track, around that part of the zone, pretty much in the middle of that zone. Could have been wider there, but at least his tire was in the box. Outside zone 3, this is right where he did that sort of not over-rotation, but had to pull some angle out. But decent job overall from him. Definitely better than his first run. Should get a slightly better score. His original score was 78.33. So let's see what he can pull together here on run 2.
All right, so 20 years Formula Drift. It all began again in 2004, Road Atlanta, and here we are now. All right, the burnout box. Nick Novak. Look at Nick Novak. Gonna throw down again.
Right.
Big Nickelback fan. I know you are.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Not even.
Not even slightly.
Not even like hidden big fan. Like trying to keep it private, just not.
Yeah, just not. All right.
Not.
All right, here we go. Nick Novak. But first, Ulla Jaeger with an 80. So he jumps to the top of the bottom 8. Currently 25th position. Says position 1, but that is, again, out of the bottom 8. Novak. Fierce. All right, nice. Okay, Nick Novak. Now he came to play. Novak Racing. In that second outside zone, pins it. Look at the counter there. Look at how, I mean, you can see the absolute guts under the hood of that thing. You can see how exposed it was. Yeah, that wheel flapping a little bit. Man, maxing out the angle there from Novak. Boy.
That was a heck of an initiation,
Yeah,
Jared.
that was sick.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
I heard like a woo on the initiation,
Yeah.
but then on the transition I heard a ah. So really great initiation from Nick, but I think right after the transition things didn't fall apart, but weren't ideal. So great initiation, decent line for outside zone 1, but right there, that transition, you can see that it was slow. It wasn't as snappy as we'd like to see. It wasn't as fast. It was controlled. It was a little bit hesitant. So not ideal there, but outside zone number 2, great job on the line through there. Got pretty close to the inside clip, and then outside zone number 3, nice job through there as well. Pretty nice degree of angle. Looked like a pretty good run, except for the transition from zone 1 to zone 2. So look at that line and angle through zone 1, and then right here, right there. Kind of a hesitation on the transition, and it didn't look as dynamic as we'd like to see. There's that word again, Jared. Great job through outside zone 2 once he got into it. Decent job on inside clip. And then transitioning to 3. Nice job there as well. Line was about mid and then went to a little bit wider through the second part of that zone. But I think that was a pretty nice run from Nick Novak overall.
Okay, jumping in, Robert Thorne. Did not think we'd find him here. But what was his first score? What did Thorne get?
Thorne had a 79.33, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, still a decent score, just not enough to get him in the top 24.
Yeah, so Nick Novak had a 73.33 in his first run. So we should be seeing his score here shortly to give us an idea of where he's going to land within the lower part of that bracket.
There it is. And 83. Wow, considerable jump up. Like you said, just on their first runs, a lot of nerves, a little hesitation, reservation, a lot of shins. K&N knockout qualifying. Nobody's knocked out. Everybody advances on. That's here in the building. Right now, Robert Thorne, ASM, Momo, BMW. All right, transitioning now in that first outside zone. Fills all of it. Robert Thorne had some great, oh, look at that aggressive flick into outside zone 2. Oh, buddy. All right, well, fortunately, he does have a score on the board.
79.2.
It's still good. Yeah. Again, that's probably put him like, 27, 28.
Yeah, I think it'll put him in third right now in the bottom part of the bracket.
So 27. Again. All right, so Thorne does have an incomplete. Fortunately, does have a score. We take the better of the 2. All right. ASM, Momo, Koenig wheels, Clutch, hyping the companies up that support them. Radium, Hyperco, and new Momo sticker there on that back rear quarter. So incomplete for Thorne. Every run has its dawn. Incomplete run. No. Yeah.
I like that you're trying.
Yeah. Participation trophies coming my way, baby.
Someone's got to fill this time right here where I'm quietly looking at scores.
It's good.
You're doing a good job, Jared.
Thank brother.
You are.
Appreciate it. You too.
Thank
you too. It's good to have your insight. And again, just so here's where it went wrong. Just overcooked it and burnt the meatloaf right about here.
Maybe the difference in surface bit him right there.
Yeah.
Possibly. We've seen some drivers have some bobbles going over that concrete patch right there, the old drag strip. And it looks like for certain cars, maybe certain tires, I'm not sure, the car moves around a little more through there. So maybe he was too on throttle, let's say, through that area for that level of grip because he came from the pavement, which had more. I don't know.
Yep,
That's a possibility. Yep. Just overcooked it. Next up is Dean Carney and his Dodge Viper.
Dean Carney. Seen Ben Hobson up here. What's Ben doing up here?
Spying.
Loving hot moms.
Dean Carney is sitting at a 73 from his first run.
Dean Carney's HyperNFT.io. Now he comes back. All right, so into that second outside zone. Ooh, whoa, wait, getting into the dirt. Looks like what Forsberg did earlier at other angles really going to highlight. And again, you saw the attitude of Forsberg Z popping up that front left. Spirited run there by Dean Carney.
That was
sweet.
A great initiation from Dean. That looks solid.
Like that.
His entry to zone 2 looked really good as well. Just got a little overzealous on the line on outside zone 2 and dropped that tire. But look at his initiation, the great rate to angle, right on the wall. Great pace, good throttle usage through there. On the transition, solid, good rotation, but right there, tire dropped, and it affected his car more than Forsberg's car was affected by the drop. You can see angle changing a little bit in the car right there, but the rest of the course was solid as well. He got back into it, didn't really drop out of the flow of the run, you know, that little tire drop didn't affect him other than right in the moment, which is, you know, the best situation for that situation, let's say. You know, you want to get back on throttle, you want to get back on line, you want to get back to angle and make sure everything just keeps flowing like it didn't happen. Of course, he will have a deduction there for that little mistake, but overall, I think he's going to have a pretty good score here due to the high energy of the run. It just looked fun, it looked fast, it looked aggressive, and it looked controlled until the tire dropped. So
absolutely,
he did have a 73, like I said. We'll see very shortly here. Oh man, it was up for I couldn't even see it. It was up so quick and gone.
Boom.
Yeah, it had to be fast. 85.
85. So an 85 puts him in the top spot of the lower 8.
So that means 25th position, right, Jared?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm learning how this works.
Yeah. Math. It's our friend. It's our friend.
That's funny how much you don't sort of watch how all this falls into place when you're up judging and doing all of that stuff. Kind of understand how it works and everything, but it really is inconsequential to how we function up there. And you know, learning a little bit more about it. It's interesting to see how the drivers are falling into place here. It's good.
All right, here we go. Kenshiro Gushi, Modi's 3 Racing, Toyota GR86. A few more drivers left. Here we go. Ken Gushi, he does have a score. A little trickle there into that first outside zone. Now into the second zone. Coming through. Just not as deep as we'd like. Seems a little bit hiccupy. Ooh, wow, he was just almost going towards that wall. Kenshiro Gushi, Modi's Breeze Racing GR, and that V6.
It's a real risky spot to be in, Jared.
Yeah, that was tough.
Real wide early in zone 3 is a bad position, but he managed to pull it off. Luckily, but he was not super accurate in this run. If you look at his initiation, he's way inside, doesn't fill outside zone 1, doesn't even get a tire in the box. Transitions for outside zone 2, gets a tire in the box early on here, but you can see him leaving the zone about halfway through. Not ideal there either. About mid on inside clip number 1, and then right there, drops the tire in the dirt, manages to simply graze that wall, somehow did an okay job through zone 3 considering the way he entered it, which was pretty risky. But you can see here, zone 2 gets a tire in the box early on, and as he gets onto the concrete pad, leaves the zone and doesn't get back into it. About the second hash mark on the inside clip, and then right there is where the risky business happened. Dropped the tire in the dirt, but managed to run a decent line through there despite that tire drop and being in such a risky position. Ken Gushi had a 75.33 on his first run, which would put him near the bottom right now of the lower part of the bracket, but a 77 will bump him up to 6. No, he's still down in the lower part. 77. The next score up was a 77.66, then an 80, 83, and 85. So he's still at the bottom right now of the bottom 8. We still have a couple of drivers to go. Wow, those headlights are so bright. Trenton Beecham. Trenton also had a 75.33 on his first run.
Okay.
This is his opportunity to better that.
All right, Beecham, Clonex. Next in tires, BMW. A little hesitation, see that little stutter step right before. Gets an outside zone 1. See how zone 2 goes. A lot more precise there. So you're getting the attitude of the car kind of Holds firm, holds steady. Wraps it around the inside clip. Comes in hard to that last outside zone. Stands and delivers. And all the way from Southern California, Trent Beecham.
Is he from Las Vegas?
No, Southern California.
He lives in Las Vegas, then?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Am I wrong? Totally,
Yeah.
I thought it was Vegas. I'm sorry.
No Vegas. Brandon Sorensen.
All right. Like you said, hesitation on initiation. That's going to hurt him. He did get into outside zone 1, though. Zone number 2 did not get into early on. Managed to kind of finesse the car into the zone just before the halfway mark. It did an okay job through the rest of the zone. About hash mark 2 on the inside clip. And then through outside zone number 3. Decent job through there. Could have been wider early on, but did a good job of getting the car out for the rest of the zone. So outside zone 1 did get into the zone okay, but it's just before that. The initiation was stepped. It was not as precise as we'd like to see. Usually like to see that one move to initiation, but definitely got the car to a slight amount of angle and then paused, got more angle into the car right after that. There is a possibility here, of course, that he does better at his 75.33. We'll soon find out what his score is. I think all the judges have their scores in.
This will be our final driver of the, again, bottom 8. Everybody, as long as they get a score. So the big pressure right here is Chelsea Denofa just needs to get a score. He can't do any better than 25th through 32nd. Here's K&N knockout qualifying score for Beecham is 79. So puts him into 30th position. So Chelsea Denofa, our final driver. Remember, tomorrow we're back here 2 o'clock for our Link Engine Management Prospect Championship. That's when we go live 2 to 5. We'll have a halftime break, and then we go live with our top 16, 6:30 to 10 o'clock. All right, so that's where it stands right now. Carney, Novak, Yeager, Thorne, Beecham, the scores. And then Mohan, Gucci, and Denofa. Chelsea just needs to get a score, needs to get on the board. You know, I mean, does he just get a score and maybe go up against Frederick Osbo? That would shake things up, huh?
Whoa.
Whoa, right? He just wants to get up there. He's not going to try any fancy stuff. He knows he can't get any better than 25th. But sometimes when you backpedal, you kind of mess up. So right now, not the case so far. The Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. And here he comes in past that inside clip and into that final outside zone. This is where he straightened out, came out of drift, and there, boom. All right, we're going to see 32 cars in head-to-head. That's going down Saturday. So a lot of these guys, might go down to the beach or something. I don't know what they're going to do because, you know, if you're not campaigning a pro-spec vehicle, they got a day off, you know. So, you know, the likes of the RTR team, I know they're just chilling. They have their 3 cars between LZ, Chelsea, and James Dean. Frederick Osbo, they're not campaigning any vehicles. So, Freddie, take a look at it again. What are your thoughts?
Decent job on outside zone 1. Not all the way wide, but got wider near the end of it. Outside zone 2, pretty solid. Not ideal, but, you know, he's in there. Got a tire in the box. Okay on the inside clip, got pretty close. Outside zone 3, again, mid-line through there. Gets wide at the finish. Nothing, you know, outstanding here, but I think, like you said, he was going for a score just to get himself in the show. That's an interesting thing that you said there, that maybe, you know, he's aiming for the bottom so that he can go up against
that would be crazy, huh?
Osbo. That'd be a very defensive play if he's close in the standings in the championship, because he is second right now. If he could knock Osbo out right away in 32.
That'd be crazy, dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was the case. I don't think he, you know, took that hit by design or, you know, spun it by design.
Is that Mr. Ryan Sage down there?
Ryan Sage is down there. This is K&N knockout qualifying 83, so puts him into 25, 26, 27th position. So before we sign off here, Ryan Sage, I believe, is going to have some words with our #1 qualifier. Let's take a look at the bracket, how it's shaped up. Again, unofficial. This is unofficial here. But action-packed day of qualifying. Earlier prospect, and now here is your head-to-head. So Osbo versus Gucci. So an all-Toyota battle there. Taking a look at Ryan Turk versus Mohan. Dylan Hughes versus Beecham. Matt Field versus Robert Thorne. All right, and again, how points shape up here. Definitely going to get interesting. Chris Forsberg versus Ola Yeager. Finishing 6th. Daniel Stuckey versus Chelsea Denofa. James Dean versus Nick Novak. Kazuya Taguchi versus Dean Carney. Cole versus Olsen, Rita versus Robbins, LZ versus Mike Power, RCP versus Alex Holovnia from Ukraine, Castro versus Jones, so on and so forth. So again, it's unofficial. The grid and bracket will be dropped. All right, let's throw it down to Ryan Sage, president and co-founder of Formula Drift, who's with our #1 qualifier, Frederick Osbo.
Little hard to hear out here. Frederick Osbo, you are leading the championship right now and backing it up with the #1 qualification. I think as a guy that plays the role of teammate as well, going 1-2 with Turk is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that felt really, really good. And yeah, we've been high-fiving in the pits right now. Ryan's stoked, I'm stoked, Steph's stoked, all the boys are really happy. But you know, as we all know, is when it really matters, the battles. It's going to be on. We're in a good spot now, but we're not taking anything for granted come battles.
Well, congratulations to you guys. I know you've got to wait a day and then come back. There's always going to be the possibility that track surface is going to change and things are going to happen in competition, but we love watching you drift. We appreciate everything that you do for the sport. Frederick Osbo, your #1 qualifier.
Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan Sage. Congratulations, the Norwegian Hammer, your K&N #1 qualifier. Taking a look at this run, he bests his own teammate Ryan Turk, who had a 92. Osbo levels up and gets a 94 to grab 3 points as well as bragging rights. And again, dude, Turk, he's already qualified once. He qualified #1 twice already this year, both in Long Beach and Orlando. Ryan, closing thoughts? See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
That's good.
Thank you so much. 2 p.m. Pro Spec, Link Engine Management, round of 32. And then later on in the evening, we have top 16. On behalf of our judges, Chris Yule, Robin Ishida, Brian Egger, and of course, Ryan Lantain joining me here in the booth. We'll see you tomorrow here from the Crazy 8 that is E-Town. I'm Jared Dienda. Send it.
Send it.